So today's hard part of writing comes from Diane, also on YouTube. And she says, the hard part for me seems to be finding the right niche for my short stories. I send them anyway. It irritates me when there is a charge to submit and I get a standard rejection slip. So we're dealing with rejection again, something writers, I think, have to come to grips with in some way at some point in their life beyond just having people say yes, yes, yes to their stuff. I think we want to understand it independently of that. So obviously, it would be better if you could hear from editors and agents with a nice note, but maybe they can, maybe they can't. There's really nothing we can do about that. But let's talk about finding the right niche. Whenever I think about publication, and acceptance and rejection, I think about something Richard Bach said to me. Richard Bach wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, which was a very odd little, he wrote a bunch of stuff, but Jonathan Livingston Seagull was the book that really blew up and changed his writing career. And that was in the early 70s. And it was an odd little book, 10,000 words about a seagull that wants to perfect flight. And he said, you know, you're not looking for an editor, you're looking for a member of your intellectual family. I think it's really true. And so this is the slippery part of writing and submission. You don't just want anybody. You don't. And this is tough to get because we write our stuff in private and we try to satisfy ourselves. We try to please ourselves. And then we go out. And one of the fears that bubbles around in our mind sometimes is, what if I've got it all wrong? What if what I think is cool isn't cool? What if I think is funny isn't funny? What if it's all just make believe? It's just me having a fantasy in my mind about my work. It's not really any good. And so we hope that, I think, for a lot of writers, to get from the publishing world the kind of validation that can relieve that fear that we're just having a pipe dream that someone would be interested in our work. And I thought of this because Diane mentioned wanting to find the niche for her short stories. We have to, as we go out and look for where our work could best be shared, we have to drop the notion that we want just any place, that we don't care where it ends up. We just want someone to say yes to our stuff. It's not really true. And it's really, I think about romantic relationships because when I was young, when I was a boy, before I was married, I had that notion like, I just want a girlfriend. Like, I just want someone who'll say yes to me, someone who will approve of me, someone who, in saying yes to me, will allow me to feel good about myself because now I know I'm desirable. Of course, that's not how it works because then you get into a relationship with someone and you have to be actually like them. You have to want to spend time with them. You have to accept them. You have to be interested in them. And this is what we want from the readers we share our work with, the editors we're looking to work with. They have to be on board with us. We're looking for people who think similarly to how we do. You know, if you write romance, you want editors who like romance. If you write science fiction, you want editors and readers that like science fiction, because there are people who just don't. You don't want them. So you're looking for people who think like you, and they're out there. But you have, the only way to find the people who are a member of your intellectual family, who think like you, who are interested like you, is to really validate what you're interested in. To say, I like this, I dig this, this is my niche. Now, where are the people who like this too? They're out there somewhere. And a lot of them may not know they like what you like until they read what you've written. Or then just, or other words, sometimes we teach people what they like by showing them our work. They didn't realize how cool a certain kind of story could be until they read it, or sometimes they've always been looking for it. Interestingly, a young woman published a role-playing game. Actually, I have it right here. Look, this is called Shadow Dark. I play role-playing games. It's fun, but it's a new rule system. And I was looking and looking for a particular kind of rule system. Then this thing popped up, and it was perfect. Oh, I was looking for it, and I found it. How cool is that? We were like-minded souls. We were until member of the same intellectual family. So that's what you're looking for. And it's really a reversal. And it's a natural thing. You should always be just like you look when you're writing for the word that pleases you, the sentence that pleases you, the story that pleases you. It's a search for what brings you happiness, a search for what brings you pleasure. That search should never end simply because you're submitting your work. And I know it seems like we're in a kind of beggarly position. We're like panhandling on the literary street corner. Someone published my story. Will you donate to the cause and publish my story? That's not how it is. You are offering something valuable. They may not see the value in it. And if they don't, they're not the right person. But you want the person who sees the value in what you offer, but you have to be rock solid on, or you can't waver on that value. You can't question the value. Just because someone else doesn't see the value, you're not begging. You're offering, you're giving. Yes, you're not begging, you're giving. You're not begging, you're giving. Do you see? You're not a beggar in this instance, right? Because you have something to offer, but you have to be clear on its value. And then you'll find the people who are meant to find it too. That's right. That's how it works. But that's hard. That can be hard, you see, and that's why it's the hard part. So what's the hard part for you? I love to hear. I love to hear about it. And what's great about this little conversation we're having in its own way is that what's hard for you can be hard for someone else. So your question can help somebody else. It's true. You can help. We can all share this and help each other. That's why we do these. That's why I do this podcast, and I hope why you tune in too. So hit subscribe if you want to be a part of this conversation. If you like it, say so. It's always good to hear from you. So until next week, this is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.